What's the identity of Northside going to be this year?
The identity of Northside is getting back to where we used to be. With our winless season last year, we're trying to become a better team as a whole.
How do you make that happen? How do you?
We make that happen by buying into what our coaches are saying and just taking step by steps to get bigger in the weight room and just listening to what they're saying.
How have you seen the kind of culture maybe shift under the head coach?
Under a new head coach, it's been way better. With just the culture of having winning the day and focusing on focusing on.
You're right. So what will define success this year for Northside?
Defining success would winning a game, first of all, and just taking step by step every week to become better. And
so obviously you guys go winless last year. How do you make sure the belief is still there that we can get this done?
We can make this happen by just focusing as a brotherhood and putting each other on a pedestal and focusing on becoming a better team and just talking to everybody, saying it's going to be okay, we can ride this ship to the top.
All right. So obviously offensive lineman, SSC conference, physical. Yeah. How much do you love that?
I love that a lot. Just like to get to hit somebody in front of you. Just like don't think about anything in your life. Just hitting is the best thing I've ever done in my life. That's.
What's the identity of Northside going to be this year?
I feel like we're going to be a very physical team. We have a lot of big guys up front that's nice and strong, and we like to play aggressive and hard. And I feel like we'll also be very fast because we have a lot of speed out on the edge, and our defensive ends are really fast, and so are our receivers and our DBs.
SAC conference, always a physical conference. You play on the line. What's it like? How much pride, how much do you enjoy that physical nature?
I love it. I'm a very aggressive guy. Last year, I used to play offensive line, but they said I was way too aggressive, so they put me on D-line. And I love to be aggressive. I love to hit. I love to just make plays and screw up the opposing team.
What would define success for the Legends?
I think discipline. Last year we didn't really have it a lot. Our seniors were rebelling against the coaching staff because it was their third coach, and we hadn't all bought into the process. I feel like this year we're all bought in, and we're all a lot more disciplined, and we listen to the coaching, and we do what we're told to do.
How much do you sense like a culture shift under Coach Berard, knowing that it's the same coach for back-to-back years?
I feel like he brings an expectation that we haven't had. Most of the other coaches, they would just let us do what we wanted, or they not put the players where they needed to be. But Coach Brevard, he puts us in a position where we can be successful, and we all listen to him and we all respect him.
Obviously, you guys didn't have the success you guys wanted to last year. How do you make sure the belief is still there that we can get this job done?
I believe that. If we do what we're coached to do, the coaches, they know what they're doing. They're not out there to just tell us what to do to lose. So if we listen to our coaching and we do what we're told to do, I feel like we could be pretty successful this season.
What's the identity of Northside going to be this year?
I think really, man, our main goal is just to try to become more disciplined. And I think, a lot of people, they talk about discipline, but they never really define discipline. And I want to get to the point where in the program, the young men are doing everything right without the coaches looking. And that's discipline.
All right, so obviously Northside, the kids, they've had three different coaches 3 years. Now you're in your second year. How have you kind of seen the kids buy in?
I think the biggest thing is really just building relationships. The off season was so needed. I showed up in June, and I'm like, it's my way or the highway. For the most part, a lot of kids they weren't feeling that because I had very high expectations, and my expectations had nothing to do with wins. Everything had to do with character development. Where now we didn't have the off season. I've been around the young men. They've been to my house. They've been to my classroom all the time, visiting, just talking. And it's not even necessarily football. It's just talking life. And now it's so much easier to go into the office and just like right now you see Landon and Reggie over there just clowning around we didn't have that last year.
What will define success then for the Legends this year?
I think taking that next step. I know ultimately, all our young men are itching for that first win and just getting the monkey off their back. So, of course, that is part of the, success program. But, for the most part, I just want to continue to see these young men develop and for our coaches continue to love them.
Okay. Obviously, last year, 0-10, not the way you guys wanted it to go. How do you make sure the belief is still there?
again, it's all about the process. And that's the thing. I had a plan. My plan wasn't a 1-year plan. It wasn't a 2-year plan. All right, I got this thing mapped out for 4 years. And, you know, I'm huge on PJ Fleck. And, like, one thing he said that I definitely agree with it takes about 3-4 years to establish that culture because of our generation now. I mean, you got to think about with these young men, a lot of, especially in the inner city, a lot of situations are so unstable, and there's people in and out of their lives. So one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be consistent, and I wanted to level them up because the one thing, you know, on the outside looking in, of course they see an 0-10 program, but what I see is I see young men that need love. I see young men that when they go home, they don't have food. When they go home, they need a father figure. That's the most important part.